It's the 3rd of the month and your phone buzzes at exactly 9 in the morning. A deposit notification. Then another. Then a third one from a name you don't even recognize because it's a tenant in a building you bought 18 months ago and forgot the address to. By the time you've finished your coffee, more money has arrived in your account than you used to make in 2 weeks of work. You didn't lift a finger. You were asleep when half of it cleared. That feeling, money showing up faster than you can spend it, has a name, and almost nobody chases it correctly. Here's the secret the wealthy understand and the broke don't. Net worth is a photograph. Cash flow is a movie. A man with $10 million locked in property can't buy lunch if his accounts are dry, while a man with the right monthly inflow lives like a king with almost nothing saved. So forget the lump sum. We're going to climb the only ladder that actually changes your day, and by the end you'll see exactly where the air gets thin. Stay with me, because the jump from level 3 to level 4 is where people stop being people and start becoming institutions. Level 1, 10,000 a month. You wake up and you don't check your balance first. That alone is the revolution. For years your morning ritual was opening the banking app before your eyes were even open, doing that little flinch math. Rent's due, cards due, will it clear? Now there's nothing to flinch about. The rent leaves, the utilities leave, the car payment leaves, and the number barely moves. 10,000 a month is roughly 120,000 a year, and the first thing it buys you isn't a thing at all. It's the death of the question, can I afford this? For anything under a couple $100. The dinner with friends you don't calculate, you just go. The shoes your kid outgrew in 4 months, you replace them without a speech. You set up an automatic transfer of 2,000 into a separate account and you don't even feel it leave. You're not rich, let's be honest. You still fly economy, you still wince at the price of a hotel in July, and a surprise $5,000 medical bill would still ruin your week. But you have crossed the line that 90% of people never cross. Your inflow is bigger than your survival. The trap at this level is subtle. Your spending wants to grow exactly as fast as your income. A nicer apartment, a leased car, a streaming bill that's mysteriously $70 now. The people who stay stuck here aren't unlucky, they let lifestyle eat the entire 10,000. The ones who climb keep their old life and pocket the difference. Boring, decisive. The most expensive thing you'll ever own is the version of you that needs to look the part. Level 2, 50,000 a month, 600,000 a year flowing in, and something philosophical happens to your relationship with your own hours. You stop trading time for money and start trading money for time. This is the level of the outsourced life. The first person you hire is someone to clean, every week, no negotiation. Then someone to handle the things that used to eat your Saturdays, the grocery delivery, the dry cleaning, the dog walker, the assistant who answers the emails you'd rather set on fire. You do the math one night and realize that an hour of your time is now worth more than the people you're paying, so every chore you delegate is pure profit in life. You fly business class now, and the first time you do it you feel like an imposter turning left when you board. By the 10th time it's just where you sit. Your money has its own job now. You're not putting 2,000 aside, you're moving 15, 20,000 a month into index funds, real estate down payments, maybe a stake in a friend's business. The capital is starting to work harder than you do. A surprise expense doesn't register as panic, it registers as an annoyance. The car breaks, you fix it, you forget about it by lunch. But here's the honest part. 50,000 a month is the danger zone for ego. This is the income that buys the watch that says I've made it to strangers who don't matter. The ones who plateau here buy the lifestyle that announces success. The ones who keep climbing buy the assets that produce it quietly. Level 3, 500,000 a month, 6 million a year, and the texture of money changes completely. You no longer think in dollars, you think in basis points and percentages and structures. You don't have a bank, you have a private banker who calls you by your first name and flies to your city. The velvet rope doesn't just open, there's a different door entirely, one most people never see exists. You're not buying things anymore. You're buying ownership, a floor of a building, a piece of a company you'll never run. The money has crossed a threshold where it generates so much of itself that your spending becomes statistically irrelevant. You literally cannot consume it fast enough through normal life. A $200,000 car is a rounding error against your monthly inflow. This is institutional power, and the strangest part is how quiet it gets. The richer the room, the softer everyone speaks. Level 4, 10 million a month. This is the jump I warned you about, the one where people stop being people. 120 million a year flowing in, and the most disorienting thing is that you genuinely lose the ability to feel it. There is no purchase, none, that a normal human imagination can produce that registers against this number. The jet isn't a fantasy anymore, it's a line item, and you debate whether to own it or fractional it the way you once debated whether to buy or lease a sedan. You buy the building, not the floor. You buy the company, not the share. And here's what nobody tells you about this altitude. The money stops being yours in any way you can hold. It becomes a system. You wake up on the 3rd of the month and you don't even see the notifications anymore because a family office sees them for you. There is a team, a real team with salaries, with their own assistants, whose entire job is to manage the gravity your money now exerts. Lawyers in 3 jurisdictions. A tax structure that took 11 months and a small fortune to build, and saves you 40 times that every year. You have a person whose only function is to say no to the 400 people a week who want something from you, because at this level everyone wants something, and the wanting never stops. The trap here is the loneliest one on the whole ladder. At this number you can no longer trust why anyone is in the room. The friend who calls, is it the friendship or the favor? The cause that courts you, the woman who laughs a little too easily at your jokes. The richer you get, the more the world performs for you, and the performance is so smooth you forget it's a performance. The men who break here surround themselves with yes. The ones who stay whole keep 3 or 4 people from before, from the level 1 days, the flinchmath days, and they pay those people in nothing but the truth. You stop buying experiences and start buying time in a way the 50,000 version couldn't fathom. Not your Saturday. Whole years. You can decide on a Tuesday that the next decade of your life will be spent on a single problem nobody asked you to solve, and there is no one to ask permission from. That is the real product of 10 million a month, a calendar with no master. Level 5. 10 million a month is the ceiling of personal money. The next level isn't a bigger number for you, it's a different question entirely. 10 million a month, sustained, compounded, structured, becomes something that outlives the man who built it. This is the legacy level, and the strange truth is that it's the first level that isn't about you at all. You've already proven you can't spend it. You've bought the silence, the time, the door behind the door. So the money turns its face toward a horizon you won't be alive to see. You set up the foundation, and it's not a tax dodge. It's a vehicle that will be funding hospitals and scholarships and water systems 100 years after your name is forgotten by everyone who knew your face. You think in generations now. Not your kids' kids, the ones who will inherit a structure instead of a fortune, because you learned the hard lesson that a fortune handed down is a curse, and a structure handed down is a kingdom. You build the thing that pays out forever, the river that keeps flowing when the man who dug it is long gone. And here, at the very top, the climb folds back on itself. Because the man who wakes on the 3rd of the month at this level checks his balance the same way the man at level 1 finally stopped doing it, he doesn't. Not because he's afraid of the number, because the number stopped being the point a long, long way down the mountain. So go back to that morning. The coffee, the buzz at 9, the deposit from the tenant whose address you forgot. You thought the goal was for the number to get bigger. It wasn't. The goal was for the number to get quiet, to become a thing that hums in the background while you spend the one currency that never compounds and never returns, the hours of your single life. Net worth is a photograph of what you have. Cash flow is the movie of how you live. And the richest man in any room isn't the one who can buy the most. He's the one who already stopped checking, because he finally has somewhere better to look. Chase the velocity, not the pile. And when the money finally goes silent, make sure you've got something worth hearing in the quiet it leaves behind.